and a bro fist to you all, you bright, smiley people. Look at you. You right there looking awesome. Look at you. Yeah, you are. I'm glad to see you put so much effort in for the daily. I can't ask for more than that. It's just that camera. Hairy forearms. Looking good. How is everybody? Looking swag. Yeah. It's Monday, which means we're back at work. We're doing all those things, which is really shit for me because in the UK, it's a bank holiday. What does that mean? Is nobody's allowed to work today. It's like, no money will change hands today. Stop what you're doing. Get out and relax. Also, the sun is shining like it's just the best day ever. But what does that mean? I still have to work. Oh, fuck everybody who's got one of them 9 to 5 motherfuckers. I hate you guys today. This is the only day I hate you. You're just off work, chilling, relaxing, maxing, all cool. Was not going to continue that. But it was okay because having a lovely partner like I do, who is in fact up the duff, she forced me to go on a picnic. We went on a picnic today, out in the sun, in the fields, with the dog and the baby. She packed me I saved it. The best picnic food of all time. Monster Munch beef! Yeah, look at that guy. Look how happy he is to have his chips. He fucking loves it. Excelente! So I had a great day, sat out in the sunshine. Got myself all a little tan. Not really, still the palest man alive. But yeah, it was a great day out at the picnic and, you know, doing all that kind of stuff. And having a wonderful... My picnic was like sandwiches, Monster Munch, and a pack of, and a can of Monster. I was in heaven. I was in absolute heaven. I loved it. I hope you've all done something wonderful with your weekend. Because you should have done. It's a good weekend. It's a good weekend. Today we're going to talk about something nice because it's the beginning of Ranged Week. We're going to talk about all those ranged classes. Lots of them. Hell of a lot of them. It might run into next week. Probably will. Because I kind of want to make sure I finish my big video this week. The vanilla video. The vanilla PvE video. It's kind of all been building to this crescendo of stuff that I know all about. PvP, kind of know a little bit. Had to use other sources. But PvE, oh, I know all about PvE. I was there. So I kind of want to get that finished. But those wonderful people out there who follow us on the good book, the Facebook, you will know that yesterday was also a work night on a Sunday. But it was a work night for Ghost. Yes, it was. It was a work night for Ghost. Ghost started editing the first in the PVG video series, which I'm hoping, if you guys like it, will in fact become the main staple of our channel. It's even possible it might not be on my main channel. We might start a new channel purely dedicated to our big videos because they kind of get lost in the mire. They kind of get lost amongst the guides and the dailies and stuff like that. And a lot of people go, oh, did you do a big video this week? Yeah. You promised us a big video this week. I did it. It's on Wednesday. It's on the main front page. But of course, with the new YouTube system, you don't see that if you're subscribed, which kind of sucks. So we may be starting a new channel, which will be dedicated to the big videos, which is a lot less videos than the ones we do now, but bigger, edited properly. Ghost did really well. For someone who was terrified of starting editing, he actually tried to convince me to edit his video for him. Which I said no, because it should have the look and the feel of a ghostly video, of a ghosty style of video. What is PVG, you might ask? PVG is something we've been wanting to do as the possibility of this becoming a job for multiple people. Thanks to you guys, we are on our way to being able to call ourselves a business with employees, which is awesome. Where we take one subject, such as a top 5, and then we do 2 perspectives on it. One is mine, one is Ghosty's. Great thing about having best friends like Ghost is we complement each other rather well. Where I might like foosball or soccer, he will prefer American football, and we'll have a good discussion on it. Okay, so we'll have one subject, and then on like a Monday, you'll get my video. On like a Thursday, you'll get Ghosty's, and so on and so forth. Which I think is going to be a great system. So I don't know how long it's going to take him. I don't know. He did his intro. He did his intro yesterday. It looks really good. It's very meticulous. Very, very meticulous. To the point where we watched the intro about 150 times. But he's very happy with it. Very happy with it. And much more meticulous than I am. More due to the time he has. But he did his own intro to his video. He's very happy with it. He wanted me to upload it just so you guys could share in its awesomeness of its 8-second video. Well, there you go. There you go. We decided not to do that. In some other news before we do that, I just wanted to point out that in hilarious news, Scribblenauts, great game, being sued by Nyan Cat. You should go and read the article on Rock, Paper, Shotgun. I only bring this up because I found it hilarious that Scribblenauts has all kinds of references in it to all kinds of stuff. Not that that is technically allowed. It's not. It's not. You can't just, I can't just throw in a video that's all about something else. I can't just make the Predator movie in a video, right? That's stealing an idea. But Scribblenauts have kind of got away with it for a long time. There's like 5 Scribblenauts games, and they always have references to things and Easter eggs that are about other games, blah, 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 blah. But Nyan Cat are the first people to kick up a fuss, and they're suing them. They're suing them for it. Now, before everyone gets out of hand, technically they are right, okay? You can't just throw in a Nyan Cat into a game and it's like, oh, it's got Nyan Cat in it. It should be fine. it's no problem. But they're suing the shit out of them, which is pretty cool. You should go and read up on it, because they're genuine about it. I actually was laughing. But if you read the article, the Nyan Cat guys have just said, for every single game, please can you stop using our property? And they've just ignored them. Scribblenauts have just ignored them. I just think it's fucking funny. Yeah, we talked about that. Right, you guys keep trolling Blizz. I suspected for a long time that every now and again I'd do a daily, or I'd do a video, and then suddenly something directly related to that would appear on MMO Champion. Alright? Weird, spooky, but my channel's not the biggest in the universe, let's face facts, it isn't, right? So, I was obviously of the opinion that it's just coincidence. However, this weekend, 3 of the videos I made, the main videos I made, which were Combustion, Gearing Up, what was the other one? Gearing Up, Combustion, and something else. I can't remember the other one. South Shore PvP, yeah, I did the PvP video, right? Those 3 things all appeared on MMO Champion between Saturday and Sunday. All 3 of them with like fucking big text about them. The exact subject I was talking about in the videos. So I was like, that's more than a coincidence, right? I'm purely able to accept these coincidences that come up sometimes. That's fine. So I checked the Twitter. I had to enter the Twitter sphere. You motherfuckers. To troll me, I think more than anything, to troll me, is when I point out a video, you fuckers are going to the Twitter sphere and blasting Ghostcrawler about it. What the fuck? And then it's appearing on MMO Champion, making me all like suspicious and paranoid. I checked it as soon as the video came out. There was fucking tons of tweets in the Twitter sphere all about that fucking video. Well, not directly. Like, so I talk about Combustion, right? And you guys watch it and you're like, oh, that's pretty cool. Yeah, some people make that mistake and stuff. Cool. Then you take it like it's your idea and you go to Ghostcrawler. You're like, dude, have you considered Combustion? Because some people are doing it wrong. Just a thought I had. Just a thought. Hey, did you realise, Ghostcrawler, that South Shore PvP wasn't that good because there was no BGs? Just a thought I had. Just a thought. And it's all up there. It's all up there for history to read. So you guys be trolling. You guys be trolling. Pretty funny, though. I like it. I like seeing Blizzard's response, actually, on a subject that I make. So continue to do it. It's nice to see what the Blues have to say. Speaking of Blues, of course, if you tuned in on Friday, I had a GM in my house. An actual GM of Blizzard. One of the senior GMs as well. With a fine pair of Tetris legs. Some of you saw. Fine pair of Tetris legs. She was joining us. We took her for dinner, which was awesome. She stayed with us till late into the night until we sent her on her way back home. And it was cool to have a GM in the house and talk about the stuff behind the scenes. Talk about BlizzCon, stuff like that. Obviously, not allowed to reveal any secrets. So I can't say anything. And she couldn't really get into any details with me. More hints. Hints about stuff. I'm okay with that. Hints about stuff that was going on. But it was awesome to have a GM here. And how much she has to deal with the bullshit that the general player base throw at her. So she actually said that sometimes her job is really stressful. And I said, is it not like a customer support job? I'm pausing because I can smell fire. Decision time. Do I go and see if there is a fire? Or do I not? I would be amiss not to go and check if there was a fire. I'll be right back. Okay. There's no fire downstairs. It's entirely possible it's my PC. Okay. We should be fine, right? The daily must go on. Yeah, there's a smell of burning here, but nowhere else. So, we'll be okay. We'll be fine. We'll be fine. If the daily suddenly cuts off, you know why. You know why. So yeah, we had the lovely GM lady with us. She was wonderful. Very smiley. And talked about how stressful it was. Because people don't know the internet. Some people were actually talking to her in game. Saying that their internet was down. And was it something to do with the game? Can you imagine that? That ticket? And they were deadly serious. So she gets the occasional troll ones. But wow, to contact someone through a ticket and say that their internet's down, and is it something to do with WoW? Or WoW won't connect to the internet and causes problems when they go into raids. Yeah. So it was quite fun. It was quite fun to hear about those kind of things. I mean, it was entertaining. But yeah, so I got to hear about BlizzCon, possible stuff about the future, which is cool. All within the realms of secrecy, which is kind of annoying because you know they know more. You know when someone has information and they can't share it. It's really annoying. It's really annoying to be like, I just took you for dinner. I took you for dinner, right? I treated you to dinner. Tell me something about Project Titan. Tell me something about Project Titan. Fuck her. No, she wouldn't. She wouldn't. Yeah, Titan gossip, go. I was trying. It wasn't happening. I was trying. It wasn't happening. It wasn't happening. She couldn't tell me anything. She did say that there is... I can tell you that she said there's so much ambitious ideas going into Titan that she's kind of worried that they won't be able to do them all well. That means there's a lot in the game. If it's overly ambitious for Blizz, look at World of Warcraft. If it's overly ambitious for Blizz, let's wait and see. Let's wait and see. So, still fingers crossed for Titan being super epic. I want to talk about Warlocks. Starting off with Ranged Week, we're going to be looking at Demonology Warlocks on the YouTube channel this evening. It's going to be released. It's already uploaded and ready to go. It's going to be released just after the daily. Just after the daily. I kind of gave Warlocks a bit of grief because I've got personal beef with Warlocks. Every time I've had to play a Warlock, it's been for method, and it's been when I didn't want to play a Warlock, right? You can kind of imagine that scenario. That's the way it went for me, is, oh, you want to join the best guild in the world? You have to play a class you don't particularly enjoy. Yeah, kind of not very swaggy. Not very swaggy. So that's the 2 times I've played a Warlock properly. In fact, I've played them 3 times, only once out of choice, and that was down to Warlocks being needed as tanks in Serpent Shrine Cavern. That's the only other time I played my Warlock. So I kind of had a bad feel about Warlocks. I was like, ugh, begrudgingly playing it. Being forced to play a class sucks. Some of you will have been there, right? You're in a guild. They need a certain class. Something's really powerful right now. You have an alt of that. Can you bring your alt? And you end up kind of pigeonholed into playing it. It never works. It never works from the bottom. It never works from the top. If you don't enjoy your class, you're not going to have a good time. You're going to have a really bad time, in fact. It's going to suck balls. So that's the only times I played Warlocks, which gave me a sort of resentment towards Warlocks. And I remember when I did the guides, when originally Mr. Pandaria came out, I was kind of like, oh, they've got the new resource system. Everything's really easy. Don't really like it. Destruction's only got like 4 spells. Demonology's not really that cool anymore. You turn into a demon and then you just press 1. That was kind of the guides I did for that. I was so fucking wrong, man. I was so like... If you're a Warlock right now, you must be the happiest motherfucker in the world. I mean it. Now I've come back to play a Warlock. To actually, you know, in my own free time, I chose to play a Warlock. Jesus fucking Christ. I have never, in my life, never seen a resource system as good as Warlocks. Ever. And all 3 of them are perfect. Absolutely fucking perfect. They're amazing. They're absolute gold. If you don't have a Warlock, please, for the love of God, give one a go. They're so good. But people don't know why. In last week's daily, we talked about how, like, if you're a Warlock right now, you should be applying for a higher guild. Okay? Simple as. If you're in a mid-level guild and you're playing a Warlock, this is a wonderful opportunity for you to move up rather quickly, because high-end guilds want more Warlocks. They just want more of them. But why? Why do they want more Warlocks? This is the big thing. What is it about the Warlock that's like amazing? What's so good? And then we read, there was an article by Paragon and Method about the endgame raid. What classes did you bring? What did you leave? And they're like, oh, Warlocks are really good because they do a lot of damage and they got a good survivability. Well, on a very mundane, common sense, boring kind of level, that's true. That's true. They have a lot of survivability and they do good damage. Kind of boring. That's not why they're so fucking good. It really isn't. It really isn't. It's because their resource system is amazing. It's absolutely amazing. And in the hands of a good player, Ermagerd, it's so good. I absolutely adore it. So good. Let me give you an example here. Demonology, right? Demonology, you turn into Illidan. You're like, fuck your couch. I'm Illidan. I'm going to blow you the fuck up. Simple as, right? You turn into the big purple demon of death. You fucking start kicking ass. You start stomping the shit out of things. That's cool. But, unlike in Kata, you can turn it on and off. So you can go, I'm a demon. No, I'm not. I'm a demon. No, I'm not. That seems all well and good, but people are like, well, I want to be in demon form as long as possible. But do you? But do you? Choice. Choice is an amazing thing. And choice that allows you to do really incredible things is the dream. Is the dream come true. It really is. Because of the fact you can turn this shit on and off, you can line it up every time with your procs. Now think about that for a moment. Just consider that for a moment. Every other class in the game is at the mercy of their trinket procs in order to be truly amazing. I'm about to combust, right? I'm a fire mage, I'm about to combust. To do a really awesome combustion, I want my trinkets up, I want potions up, I want this, I want that, then I'm going to combust. Standard problem is your trinket procs before combustion's ready, it procs afterwards, it doesn't line up nicely, kind of sucks dick, right? Kind of sucks. And every other class is the same. Warriors, we're about to pop Avatar, we're about to pop fucking Bloodbath, we're about to do all this cool shit, but our trinkets aren't procking, we're not getting all the meta gem procs, all that kind of good shit isn't happening while we're blowing our cooldowns. So we kind of work around the idea of when is the best time. And nearly every one of my DPS videos says this. It's like, oh, well, you don't want to delay something too long because you can use it again in the fight. So although you do want your trinkets to proc, you kind of have to line it up really nicely. Warlocks don't do that. Warlocks go, oh, my trinket's procced, demon form, fucking shit up. Oh, my trinket's not procced anymore, turn demon form off. And just continue. Oh, my next trinket's procced, demon form on. And you can talk about demon soul, but demon soul almost becomes irrelevant to the fact that every single time one of your super awesome procs goes off, you can activate your super awesome DPS cooldown. Every single time. It's so fucking good. It's amazing. I found myself, like, as an advanced player who can watch my trinket procs and track them, I was like, wow, I could do some really cool stuff. In fact, I'd never have to miss or lose a trinket proc again. Ever. And there's no other class that can say that. And that's not just demonology. Think about destruction. Chaos Bolt, right? It fists you in the ass. That's what Chaos Bolt does. Hits you like a truck. I'm sure you've been in a BG. Chaos Bolt flies at you. And it's like in slow-mo and the shit's coming at you. And you're like, oh my god, I'm going to get Chaos Bolted. And then suddenly you lose all your HP. People don't realise the actual simplicity of how excellent this design is. I can bank my Chaos Bolts. I can save them. I don't need to fire them off straight away. In fact, I can have 4. I can just let them chill. And then my trinkets proc. So every time, not only do I fire my super powerful uber cooldown, my big, powerful, hard-hitting spell, I can make sure that every time I fire one, I have something that buffs the crap out of it. Every single time. Every single time. And if I'm firing more than that, it's purely because I have extra. I've just got things lying around. I've just got an extra Chaos Bolt in my pocket. I'm just going to fire that son of a bitch off. Because next time, I know I'll have them all under trinket procs. I'll have them all under enchants. I'll have them all under anything I have that makes me super powerful. I could not appreciate how good this resource system is until I played it for fun. Which I didn't at the start of MOP. I didn't enjoy leveling my Warlock. I thought it sucked. Leveling my Warlock was one of the worst classes that we did that month, where we leveled everything. It's horrible. Horrible. I hated it. Leveled as Affliction, switched to Demonology, which was kind of like, oh, I'm killing things really slowly, it's pretty fun. Affliction, the same with Haunt. People don't realise how powerful Haunt is. Haunt is incredible. Haunt is a massive DPS cooldown. It's huge. The amount of extra damage you do under the power of Haunt, is immense. So you fire it off when you trinket procs. You don't have to waste all your soul shards. You can actually do very tricky things with your soul shards. Kind of lesser extent, but still the amazingness is there. And I absolutely fucking love that. You missed live stream February? Oh, sorry for anybody who's like, I want to reroll a Warlock. I would expect that the Warlock redesign and even the Monks have a great resource system as well, although it's kind of energy based. Kind of shitty, is what we're going to see in the future, because they have started to realize how cool it is to not force people to rush. Rushing is a horrible thing, and the Warlocks are the step in the right direction. Warlocks do not need to rush, and that is why they are stunningly well designed. I mean amazingly well designed. When you consider how much pacing you can put into a Warlock, you could take your time. You can take your time, and that is a gift for DPS, to take your time. Taking your time as a DPS is usually considered wrong. You've got to spam as hard as possible, right? You've got to break your keyboard to do the max DPS. Not as a Warlock. Take it easy. Oh, I've got 3 Chaos Bolts now. Okay, I'm kind of going to chill till I get a Trinket proc. Then I'm going to punish you so fucking hard. Because I'm super powerful, now I can blow my cooldowns. Oh, I'm just building up more Chaos Bolts, but I haven't got any procs right now, so I'm going to wait. Oh, I'm outside of Demon Form. I'm just going to wait until something procs, and then when I use my Demon Form, I'm going to be really awesome. Right? That kind of playstyle is crucially amazing. And I would like to see Warriors, Feral Druids, all these classes. They're kind of happy with energy right now. I don't want to go too extensive on the class changes that are upcoming, but it's worth reading MMO Champion. They did a big class overview right now of all the little tweaks they want to do. They're quite happy with energy. Energy's okay. Again, it's forcing players to take their time. Energy gives you time to think about what you're doing next, which is kind of what they're going for. With Warlocks, they've managed to hit the nail on the head in all 3 specs. It's amazing design. I absolutely fucking adore it. How long can you save Chaos Bolts for? You can save them forever, but you don't want to cap them out. You don't want to cap them out. That's the thing. Yeah, if we look at something like the Zonkers as mentioned there, Shadow Priests, we're at the mercy of our Devouring Plague. If it procs, we need to get rid of it. If we get that 3rd Shadow Orb, we need to get rid of it. What if you could have every Devouring Plague under the power of trinkets? Just imagine for a moment, just take it into your mind that every time you pop your regular cooldown, be it Combustion, be it Devouring Plague, be it whatever, that you could say, without fear, without the fear that you're going to waste a cooldown, because there is nothing worse when you start getting good at this game, and many of you are getting to this level. Many of you are getting there now, and there's other people joining every day. We can see we get an extra 1,000, 1,500 people every week, and they're starting their journey, as many of you guys have been here for another year and are starting to get there now, where you're starting to consider things like trinket procs. You're starting to consider wasted cooldowns. A new player doesn't care about a wasted cooldown. He fired off his cooldown and he's happy with that, and that's cool. That's fine. But now you're starting to move to the advanced levels and you're starting to think about, oh, you know what? A trinket didn't proc. That kind of sucks. Many of you have been there now and have sent me emails. Well, how do I deal with this? How do I deal with my trinkets proccing at the wrong time? You're now starting to understand how powerful your opener is, because everything procs under the sun. Now imagine your class, if you're not a Warlock, where every time you use your big, heavy hitting spell, you can choose when to do it. And not only that, you can choose when to do it when it's at its most powerful every time. Be it Devouring Plague, your Combustion, whatever it might be. Just imagine being able to make sure that every time you fire that spell off, it's amazing. Absolutely at its best. Well, not at its best, but certainly more powerful than normal. Imagine that. It's crazy. It's crazy. And that's what Warlocks have in spades on all 3 of their specs. And it's sort of the unsung hero. You could talk about survivability, mobility by adding the demon tunnels, and the fact that they do good damage. It's very hard for a Warlock now to do bad damage, especially if it's a better player. A more skilled player is going to say, I'm always going to do good damage. Because when I want to do my big damage, I can make sure it's always buffed more than it should be. More than what everybody else's is. I can make sure that happens all the time. I don't need to rely on things like crits. I don't need to rely on anything. All I need to know is that my things will proc, and they will. They've procced since I started playing this game. So I'm going to be fine. It's like Pillar of Frost is a good example for the Frost DKs. It happens all the time. Wouldn't it be nice if every time you had Pillar of Frost, you had all your procs up all the time? Every single time you used that cooldown, everything was ready. You had tons of procs to go with it. Wonderful design. I fucking love it. I'm selling locks to you. So I would definitely recommend them. I would definitely recommend you try them. I would like to see that this resource system is applied to more classes in the future because it's immensely good. It is. If you're at the level where you can appreciate how good it is, you'll be really happy. You will. I'm not saying you're going to love Warlocks, but try it out just to test the resource system so you can see how this works. So you can see how important it is to track trinkets and then apply that to your own class. And kind of see where your class is behind and outdated and archaic in its design compared to these new things that have come out. The way things are going now. Because this resource system should be modeled and used in the future. The idea of being able to bank and build up your big stuff without wasting it. That's the simplicity of it. I want to use these spells. I want to use my cooldowns on my other classes. But what about if I can just delay them without fear that I'm actually losing them? What about that? And that's where we're going, and it's wonderful. It's really, really good. It's really, really good. We've got about 5 minutes left, so I'm going to do any AMA you want to do. I wanted to get that out because I'm really happy with the Warlocks right now. Not enough to play one regularly, but enough to gear one up. Now, that's a bold statement for me because I usually don't want to gear anything up, particularly. I'm quite happy to roll and play a couple of classes. That's what I like to do, is play a couple of classes. Warlocks are kind of the ones that will added. Warlocks I kind of want to gear my Warlock up because due to the fact that I could play it in such a way, I was doing ridiculous damage easily. I mean, we're talking well over 100k DPS on a very, very low geared character like 460 something, which is freaking cool. It's fucking cool. Okay, let's take some questions. I haven't done questions for ages. I am going to be adding another video in before Total Biscuit complaints, but fuck it. My email system right now is absolutely wacky bananas. It's crazy, but a lot of them are duplicates. So I'm going to start adding another video to YouTube, so you might be getting sort of 3 videos a day at some point, but this isn't of interest to all of you, which is literally a mailbox covering these things. It's the best way to do it. I used to do the mailbox a while ago. I stopped it as we did dailies, but now my emails are flooding in. I want to reply to you guys. I just don't have time to individually type to everybody. So I'm going to do mailboxes replying to your questions. It's the best way to do it. What does it have to do with TB? I'm English, and it's a mail video. That's it. There used to be a series called The Mailbox. I stopped the old mailbox because people just go, oh, you're trying to be TB. I'm not. It's just the best way of doing it. It's the best way to do it. How do you keep leveling fun? I'm leveling my 5th char. It's rogue and I'm getting bored. It's not easy. I would recommend that even if you don't have an audience, that you try streaming while you're leveling. Doesn't matter if there's anybody watching you. Keep you on your guard. And really, it's free to do. It's entirely free to do. You don't need a webcam or anything like that if you're shy. But I would recommend it. In case just somebody drops in and says hello to you. Have a chat with them. Makes your life so much easier. If you don't want to do that, second monitor, TV shows, anything like that. Netflix, get your love film on, wherever you might be. YouTube, best thing to do is to take your mind off it. If you go for just pure straight leveling, you can kind of have a bad time. That's what I want to do. Where's your top at, okay? Going to ask it again. Any good suggestions how to track internal cooldowns? Tell me when. Tell me when, we'll do everything. I would recommend... Tell me when's the easiest thing to use at first. I've done a video on it. I have done a video on it. And in fact, in the new video updates, I'm including the recommended tell me whens that I think you guys should use. I think some people find that useful. So I've added that into tonight's demonology video. These are the tell me whens I recommend that you take. Tell me when will do anything that you want it to do. It has an option setting called internal cooldown where you pick the item and put the internal cooldown and it will track it for you. Practice with it. It's not the easiest thing in the world to use. Okay, it's not the easiest thing in the world to use, but really get used to it and you'll be happy. Believe me. You'll be happy. Strange Man, the Man of Steel. Yeah, representing. I'm so looking forward to the new Superman film. It's crazy. It's especially after Iron Man 3, which I was disappointed in. The Man of Steel just looks so good. I hope it lives up to my expectations. Because I don't even know what it's about, which is even better. I know Zod's in it. I mean, everybody knows that. He kind of looks like Bane, but Christopher Nolan's involved. So I'm so excited for it. I saw this Man of Steel t-shirt. I dropped 7 big ones on this. 7 big ones. That's right, cash money pounds on this t-shirt from Asda. So if you're in the UK, go to Asda. They've got some Man of Steel, and the other one is an Avengers t-shirt. But I've already got one of those. 7 quid. Cash. Cash though, not checks. I want to make a new add-on video for Tell Me When. Maybe an advanced Tell Me When. I guess you're asking me if I'm going to do an advanced Tell Me When video. I could do that for you guys. Yeah, sure. I could do an advanced Tell Me When video. I have no problem doing that. Dear Preacher! He starts it like a letter. I've got to ask it. I know you love WoW. I do. But I have to ask this question. Do you keep track of the launch date for Final Fantasy 14 version 2? I don't track any other MMOs whatsoever as of this year. That is a rule I've set myself. Now I'm streaming pretty much every weekday. I stream for a minimum of 2 hours after the daily. A minimum of 2 hours after the daily. I am trying some MMOs. Like we did Star Trek Online. I'm going to do Lord of the Rings Online tonight, if it ever updates. 70% by the way, for those interested. But no, new MMOs, I've been burned so many times, really have. I take little or no interest. I wait till the buzz has started. I'm never the guy who's first in the door. I've never cared for that. So, you know, like when you're going for a plane, good example. If you're going for a plane and the guy's like, we're about to board, and then like 50 or 80 people just crowd the door and they stand there for 20 minutes trying to get in first. I'm sat in the chair, got my music on. I don't give a shit. I've got a seat ticket, right? I've got a ticket to get in my seat. I don't fucking care. I'm like that with MMOs now. I will wait. I'm patient. I've always been a patient guy. I will wait and see what happens. Like with Bioshock Infinite, I didn't rush to get Bioshock Infinite in any way. In fact, it was one of you guys who sent me a copy of Bioshock Infinite. I was prepared. I said on the stream, I'm waiting to the end of the month. But the buzz was there. And that's what happened with World of Warcraft. There was the buzz. I was playing other MMOs, as were my friends, and suddenly the buzz started to spread. Have you heard about this game? Wow. You heard about this? Apparently it's really good. And that community buzz, that's what inspires me to get new games. If I'm ever going to buy a new game, it's community buzz that pushes me towards it. Now, that's the way I think it should be. I like that. I want people to sort of point to me and say, this one's worth a look. And if I get that kind of reaction and I pick it up in the community and on the forums and reading and all the news and research that I do on a daily basis for my videos, when I start picking up on a new game, that's when I'll give it a look. Other than that, I don't believe any marketing whatsoever, and I truly hope you guys don't either. Marketing is tricky. Marketing is a very tricky thing. They can make anything look really good. Aliens, Colonial Marines. You drop some money on it, you don't do it. So that's how I do it. Not so much bandwagon. Not so much bandwagon. More if there's a buzz about it. If there's a little buzz that this thing is incredible, and all your favourite... there are a lot of people out there who do new game content. They do YouTube videos, they do reviews. Like I check sites like Rock Paper Shotgun. Reddit Games is a little bit tricky. It's a bit of a circle jerk. Just be careful on Reddit Games and Games News. It's a little bit ropey. But trusted sites that you find, if they're giving it a bit of a buzz, then I consider it worth a look. Yeah, look at Guild Wars 2. The marketing is amazing. Not for me. Thoughts on rogues in PvE for the next few patches? I wouldn't worry about rogues at all. The only thing I would worry about if you were a rogue is that the other melee is going to be buffed to the teeth. One thing they had said this weekend, which was interesting to me, is that they're changing the rogue and warrior animations. Thank Christ. Any of you who've watched my Fury warrior stuff will know that the big reason I hate Fury isn't even the gameplay. It's the animation and the sound effects that go with it. Suck bollocks. It sounds terrible. It sounds like nothing. And it therefore feels like I'm doing nothing. It feels like I'm doing absolutely nothing. But they're changing the rogue and the warrior ones, which is kind of due. Rogues still do this kind of like this sort of effect, and orcs just give it this kind of swing every now and again. You know, that kind of stuff. And the Tauren warrior animation for Fury is just atrocious. Anybody who's played a Tauren warrior dual wielding, like this kind of thing, like a T-Rex, right? Like your arms aren't long enough, so you're giving it all this kind of shit, and then you kind of just wiggle around. They're updating that, so I'm kind of happy. I'm kind of happy they're doing that. Yeah, going skiing. It is. It's the whole T-Rex Jurassic Park thing. I hated my... I'd never raided on my warrior was a Tauren throughout most of his life because there was a tank. So when I was raiding or got to go DPS, I would have to Noggin Fogger. I could not look at my warrior dual wielding. It was disgusting. Isaac, I'm going to be playing quite a lot. In fact, if Lord of the Rings doesn't update, we're on 98% though. Isaac will be sort of my go-to game. I haven't had a chance to play it. I don't really play games off stream unless I'm filming them. And I have a lot of games to film, including Mortal Kombat. So I don't have time to get Mortal Kombat working on here. I probably have to emulate it as well, which is illegal. But I need to do a playthrough of Mortal Kombat. But Isaac, I am loving. I want to invest more time in it. I want to get that mom kill and really unlock some stuff on it. So Binding of Isaac right now is amazing. I'm really enjoying it. It's a wonderful game. How do you feel about Focus as a resource system? I don't like Focus. Focus's whole point was to... I understand why Focus was a decision that was made. The problem with Hunters is with mana, Hunters and the fact they're just global cooldowns, could spam Spam, 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 spam. All their abilities all at once, just over and over and over again. And I understand why that sucked, because hunters could just go and that was it. It was game over. The idea of focus was just to limit them, to give them something to think about as a resource. It's not interesting. I'm not saying it's a bad resource system, but it's not interesting. If that makes sense to you, okay? It's not interesting to me. It's kind of like Rage. Oh, no, Rage is more frustrating. Focus just isn't interesting. Yeah, I think that's the best way to say it. It's not an interesting resource system. I have one to build it, and then I spend it, and that's not fun, right? It's not fun. I mean, if I could activate something, you could argue that Demonic Fury is the same way for a Demonology Warlock, is that we just generate Demonic Fury in order to spend Demonic Fury. On a simple premise, it's the same as Focus, but it's not, because we use that Demonic Fury in such a way that we can actually enhance other abilities based on what we're doing. With Hunters, we're just making sure we've got enough focus to fire off our abilities. That's not interesting to me. Focus is kind of like energy, essentially, yeah. Go back to mana. No, mana didn't work. It didn't make any sense. It didn't make sense. Mana didn't make sense. I will do as many workshops as I can. If I haven't done your workshop, I will it's not just because there's not enough time. You can see a workshop will take me about an hour, and I try and squeeze 3 in. Bear in mind, I'm a mega WoW nerd, right? So I could spend 2 hours on one video. I try and fit 3 in an hour, purely because my brain melts after that, after doing that kind of workshop as well. It's kind of an intense process for me, as much as I'm watching someone play WoW, to make sure I'm getting the good points out there. But I will get to them. If not, I reply by email. Don't worry about it. Going home and drinking. Why are the EU players on the forum much more mature than the US? I don't see that. I think that's always the grass is greener kind of aspect. If we were to check the forums this weekend, I do check the WoW forums, as dangerous as it is to go lurking amongst that kind of tribe. I do check the WoW forums on a reasonably regular basis, especially the raiding forums. It kind of points me into what problems newer players are having, right? So rather than me looking for information there, what I'm actually doing is seeing what are the new players struggling with. Is there any way I can help that? Perhaps produce a video that can bring newer players towards my channel, and then I can help them move out of that kind of WoW forum spamming kind of thing. I would say they're both equal. Sometimes I go on the US forums as well for the same reason. Like 45% of my audience is in the US. So I do the same thing there. At the moment, I would say they're equally as bad. They're never good. Let's face facts. They're never good. They're never really representative of the community as a whole. They're never good. I wouldn't say they were good or bad. It's kind of like when people say the Horde always wins BGs. It's not entirely true, because if you ask the Alliance guys, you know, the Alliance always, or you ask the other side, the other team always wins. It's just the way it is. It's just the way it is. Do you think they should give enhancement or just shame a new resource system, and how would you do it? It's a big question, Cyberdino. I think enhancement could do with something else. Enhancement always is in a bit of a clusterfuck. You've got to remember how enhancement was in vanilla. How was an enhancement shaman first made? It only had 2 spells. Had Storm Strike and Shock. That was it. So your entire shaman was 2 spells. Now, it's got, what, 9? 10? On a regular basis? 9 or 10? Something like that. And it's come a long way really quickly to try and fix old problems. And this is one of the things Blizzard's pointed out recently, is a lot of the solutions they've implemented to game. And don't pretend like they're not considering removing dual spec, by the way. They have alluded to that on a couple of occasions now in the last 2 weeks, that they are really considering removing dual spec. Fuck that. But they are considering it. They are fucking considering it. I'm telling you right now, they are considering doing that. But the Enhancement Shaman has kind of been like, oh, we need to fix this, we need to fix this. And then it's come to now, Mr. Pandaria, where we've got a whole new talent system. And is it really helped? It hasn't. They're in a bit of a mess. I wouldn't say they need a resource change. I think mana's kind of okay, but pointless. Kind of like a Ret Paladin, right? Mana is just a waste of time. It doesn't mean anything. So it could do with something that's interesting, I agree. But more than that, it needs its spells fixing, the same as the Ret Paladin. The Ret Paladin needs its spells and its abilities fixing, as does the Enhancement Shaman. In my opinion, I've never liked... I find it very difficult to enjoy both a Ret Paladin and an Enhancement Shaman for the same reason. They're very spammy, and there's not much thought going into it other than am I making the best use of my global cooldowns. This is why I was saying the new Warlock system is so much better. Simple spells. Destruction's what? Immolate, Conflag, Chaos Ball, Incinerate. It's like 4 spells, right? 4 spells, and one of those spells we can delay for a long time before we consider it. Rain of Fire, although it's being removed in 5.3, by the way. In before that's removed. I'm telling you, that's going in 5.3 or 5.4 or whatever. Rain of Fire is not staying in the rotation. Oh, Shadowburn. Yeah, and Shadowburn. But simple, low spells that can be considered. Shadowburn even falls into the same basis of Chaos Bolt. We can think about it. So you're down to like 3 spells. That's the way it should be. Simple spells and some consideration into the other one. With an Enhancement Shaman and a Rep Paladin, it's every global cooldown needs to be used or I'm losing damage. That's boring as fuck and frustrating and annoying. Because you make a mistake, it sucks. You miss out on that Unleash Elements, Flame Shock, and suddenly your DPS is bollocks for the next few seconds. It sucks. It sucks balls. I really don't like it. Preach, do you think Fury Warrior's utility should be nerfed and our damage buffed to make us competitive in the DPS scene instead of just being brought to raids for our skull bite? Yeah. There are some warriors out there who are clinching to the fucking teeth. I mean clinching to the idea of Skull Banner and Demo Banner and Rallying Cry. That is so the wrong way to be thinking about your class. It was the problem of the Shamans in the Sunwell. We are clinching to the idea of Bloodlust. I tell you, I spoke to some bad Shamans who were in our guild who knew they weren't the best. And it's kind of an awkward conversation when you speak to people who know they are replaceable. Who said that, who were flat out against mages getting Time Warp. I mean, they hated it. And a common sense person can see between the lines there. It's like, you don't want mages to have Time Warp because you're going to lose your raid spot. Because that is the only reason you are here. And warriors are kind of in that situation. Rather improving play and improving other abilities, clinching onto it. So you'll have people kicking and screaming if they remove Skull Banner. Kicking and screaming, even if their damage is being buffed accordingly. But yes, I agree, they have too much raid utility. Do you think lowering the cooldown and damage of the big cooldowns will be a good idea in PvE? They said they want to do it for PvP. Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, is it better for the game? Yes. Yes, it is. Things should be more like Combustion. I think Combustion right now is one of the most well-designed abilities. Because it's on a short cooldown, which means if you goof one up, it's not the end of the world. It's like a minute and a half glyphed. It's a minute and a half in a raid fight, right? It's nothing at all. That is amazing to me. It's amazing to me. That's really, really good. It's really, really good. I want shorter cooldowns that don't hit as hard, but are still fun. It's the bosses that should make things fun, not just your cooldowns. Oh, it's really nice to do the mad burst, but it scales so disproportionately. I'm sure many of you have seen Sparkhugs' latest video where he did 600 and something K burst at the beginning of a fight. It's just stupid. Everything's so important in those first few seconds that a bad one, a ninja pull, can fuck up the entire raid, and it fucks you up personally. I prefer shorter cooldowns that don't hit as hard and the encounters to be more fun to balance it off. Yeah, it's 600k DPS or something he did. I would like that. I think people would hate it if they couldn't stack massive amounts of cooldowns in the initial time, but for the game it's better. It is better because it helps the mid-level players. I'm not interested in what the high players do. I'm not anymore. For me, that's fine. As a personal player, there's like me as the guy who does the YouTube videos, and then there's me as a player. Me as a player, I love my giant big cooldowns that are on 5 minutes because I can make them work. If you understand what I'm saying. Me as a player, I can make them work because I've grown with it, I've done it in the past, I'm fine with it. As me who makes YouTube guys for a lot of new players coming in and trying to build up the PvE interest in the game, that's one of my main goals with my channel, is to make sure people build up and become good players. It doesn't help me. It doesn't help me. Which is pretty cool. Well played, Ninjastics. 850k! Million deeps. I haven't done the arms video yet. I will do it soon. People voted for the ranged week, not the melee week. So, you know, just bear that in mind. You guys voted for it. But well, I'll open the voting again at the end of the week for the next themed week. We're doing ranged this week, so I'm kicking off with the Warlocks. I'm going to do Elemental Shaman last and everything else in between. Purely because my Elemental Shaman is still wearing agility gear. Oh! I don't really comment on that, Pesto. I'm not into my PvP. I haven't been since the Burning Crusade. The PvP is kind of... It's not changed enough for me to warrant interest. It is what it is. It doesn't really do for me. I want Ham's video to save my warrior. Do you have a guild that noobs could join? Yeah, Stark Industries. Anybody can join Stark Industries. Okay, last couple of questions. Thoughts on DPS? DK? Fine. I like the fact there's some competition. I've seen some comments that Frost isn't scaling well. I think that's... I always read that as people who enjoy the simplicity of Frost, because it is relatively simple to get a good solid DPS number out of it. Don't like the fact that Unholy is actually competitive, if not better, because Unholy takes a little bit more thinking about. You always got to take a pinch of salt with people who say things like scale and internal cooldowns and start throwing these kind of phrases around about some really newbie subjects. It's kind of someone who's pretending to know what they're talking about, and you can see right through it. DK DPS is alright. It needs maybe a little bit of a buff, or maybe range needs toning down is probably more accurate. Range needs toning down. We're a cesspool guild? No, but we're a helpful guild. It's a helpful guild. I haven't heard of start turning anybody away. Of course, I'm not in charge, but there you go. Alright, I'm done. That's the daily over, alright? So I'm going to take my 2-minute break. It was a good daily. I enjoyed that, actually. I've had a great day. A really good day. So, daily's over. I'll be back tomorrow for another daily. Hope to see you then. At 4 PM GMT. Of course, I'm going to take 5 minutes, and then I'm going to be streaming for the next few hours. We're going to be playing some Lord of the Rings online. We know it's bad, but how bad is it? That's the question. So I'll be back in 5 minutes. Take it easy, guys, and be good. Bye.